Hello everyone, welcome to the weekly review. Today is the 23rd of December 2019. We from Subverto wish you all happy holidays. Hope you have a great time with your family and friends. So total market cap on the weekly time frame. What I want to bring to your notice is this very interesting weekly close for this candle, and you can see that we did have a weekly close which was somewhat similar, but the structure was different, and also the structure for price. Here you can see it's quite a clean flag. It was quite different the previous market cycle, but I can still say that until price reclaims this level and possibly breaks out of this flag, there is not much reason to be bullish. We can still continue to range, and we can still continue to use the range plays that we have been using previously. So, but still, I think this is a quite a bullish candle. Just the fact that we've already traded in this range for the past month, and right after that, we've had this swing failure pattern and a very nice weekly close. So it will be interesting how price reacts. Essentially, we were looking at this 150 billion level for the total market cap. So now it's whether to see whether price can reclaim the higher 200 billion mark and turn it into support. And if it does, we should be looking for more upside. If this weekly candle close fizzles out over the next couple of weeks, we should again still be looking for this 150 billion mark. So the altcoin market cap, I mentioned this on my Twitter. We're looking at this quarterly support level, the 52 billion mark to hold. The price got quite a decent reaction from it, and we're going to be looking at it next week also, because we're going to be quite close to the end of the quarter. And let's see if this price level can hold, because if it does, I think we still have a decent chance for a bounce. I'm gonna zoom right into the weekly here, and you can see that alts are not as bullish as the total market cap. The total market cap essentially has closed above this weekly level, but over here you can see that we have broken down and we are going to be closing below this. And I really think that the only time to be bullish for alts would be once we reclaim this 62 billion mark. But until then, like I was saying, this is the broad market, but there's still a few plays. Alts are still quite volatile, but I suggest to remain on low time frames for alts and to not think about swing positions until we start to show strength. This is a very clean and clear downtrend. Allow it to show strength, allow some strong levels to be reclaimed before you want to look for swing positions. So looking at Bitcoin on the 12-hour chart along with the ADX, in case you haven't watched the ADX video, please do go and watch it. It's a very useful tool to catch trends and reversals and a lot of other things, and we're going to be releasing another video midweek with more details of how you can use the ADX. So you can see on the ADX quite clearly we were able to catch the top, because when price was at 13,000, the next oscillation for ADX was sub 25. So what also I would suggest is never use one single indicator for a trade. You must find confluence. There was confluence in other momentum indicators as well, but there was also confluence for price. It is a good place to manage risk as well, so this was a very nice place to be shorting Bitcoin, but ADX would have given you very good confirmation for this. And what I want to show you right now is something similar happening in the other direction. Though it isn't as weak as it was, this oscillation, it is still above 25, but you can see it's dwindling pretty fast. And considering that we had a swing failure pattern, and you do know that on Twitter we were able to trade this range. You were looking for this swing failure and for price to pop back into the range, and we essentially played this range all the way up. This isn't the exact range that we were playing. If you want to know what range it was, I'm gonna dive into the 4-hour chart for BTC. So if you want to know what range it was that we were playing, I'll just quickly draw out that range. So here's the range play. This is the range that we were playing for BTC, and we waited for price to take out this level, broke back in, price broke back into the range, take profit 1, take profit 2, take profit 3. And after that, what I had spoken about was on Twitter that I wanted to see a 4-hour close above the Monday high. We did do that once. This was a trade to take, and essentially if you were playing this on the 1 hour, you would have got stopped out the first time, but the second time you would have survived the stop, and you would have taken profit once. And we're still currently in this trade. What I had spoken about for this trade was that we're looking at this secondary channel. So we took profit and got stopped out, re-entered this trade on the break of this channel, and again we've taken profit again. But you can see we're finding support in the 0.75 area of this range, and the trade from the middle of the channel essentially takes you to the top of this channel. Top of the channel we have a good confluence for resistance, this monthly open level along with the top of the channel. So for Bitcoin, the play that I am looking for now is, yes, I am in long. I'm going to get stopped out if we lose this support on a closing basis, but what I would look for is either for price to hit here. I'm going to take off about 90% of my long, and I'm going to watch price what it does. If we do get a strong rejection, I do want to play this short. I want to play the short over here on this rejection, and if we find support over this level, I think we can trade this higher towards this weekly resistance level, which will also be the top of this range. We could either take out this level entirely or even trade up to these highs. So this would be really interesting if price ends up getting close to 8,000 and challenging this consolidation over here. Because if price does that, let's zoom out a bit. So on the weekly time frame, if price does that, if we do get above 78.60 and we end up finding support here, I think that's going to be very significant. So I think this is the level to watch, 78.60, the weekly resistance level. If price can find support over it, there is definitely a shift in market structure, and there is definitely a good probability for price to start trading higher levels. But essentially you really want to get bullish once price trades above this weekly resistance, which is around 87.60. But most definitely this is still going to be very bullish if BTC can go all the way above this range and start to find support. So this is going to be quite a key level, guys. I'm still in the long, going to watch what price does here, going to be taking profit here, and will only be compounding once we do find support here. If we have a failure, I'm going to be looking for shorts, because currently we are still very clearly in this bear market, and we should be looking for lower levels. And the rules of the range play are very simple, that the top of the range swing failure patterns are for shorting. The top of the range, even weakness in momentum, it's all for shorting. So we're getting close to levels which are interesting for shorts, and only be looking for longs once we start to reclaim at least first the monthly open to trade it up to this weekly resistance. And once if we do reclaim this would be very interesting. But I think once if we do get above this level, either we're going to get a strong swing failure or we take out these highs and then come down and test this. If we do test this and hold, uh, I think there's a shift in price structure. We're going to be reclaiming resistance that was lost as support. So this would change the entire game. So very interesting a couple of weeks coming up for BTC. So Dow Gold has made the break that we were talking about last week. We wanted for price to move out of this trend line, and we have made it. You can see that the November scribbles are still going really well. In fact, the price is timing even the wick that needs to head up to this weekly resistance. It's timing it quite well. So I think there's just continuation in terms of what we were looking last week for Dow Gold. So you can see the Nasdaq is getting really impulsive. We already had a very steep channel and price broke above it. This is essentially where we were starting off last week. We made a 2% move all of last week. So it's quite a strong week for the Nasdaq, and so this was already such a steep channel and we've broken above it. So this is getting really impulsive now, and I think one needs to start getting careful. Have your stops, keep moving stops up as price moves up, because if this thing has to turn at some point, it's going to turn pretty sharply. But there's no reason to think that for now, and I think we should stay long and stay strong. Here's gold with the scribbles from last week. We were looking to find weakness in gold. What is really interesting is that we did not break down yet. So I'm thinking if the Nasdaq is getting impulsive, maybe there is a move for gold to come, because we had a very nice swing failure pattern, but we came right down to the weekly resistance and we held it. What the plan was that if we did lose this and this was the place to activate the short, we never even retested it again. So I think the short for gold would only be again if we do lose this weekly resistance level. Other than that, it's quite sharp and it's quite sideways. So I think we should wait for gold to show a direction. And if you want to trade it to the upside, this is the level to look at, 1480. I think if price starts to find support above this, you could trade it to this daily resistance level here and take some profits off and essentially look for what price would do there. But for now, gold is quite sideways, quite a boring week. Nothing much happened here. So oil did actually manage to head above this weekly resistance level and go to the top of the channel, but failed from there pretty sharply. Also gave a swing failure pattern. So I did take a short once it entered into the channel, and we have broken down below the weekly resistance. I've already taken some off, not fully confident in oil because this was quite a sharp move. So going to be watching, take more profits at the middle of the channel, and I think I'm going to get out of the short if we start to find support above the weekly resistance. And I want to be looking for longs here by managing the position with whatever structure we build below this. So nice time for oil. It's been a long while since we've been testing this resistance, and we're finally kind of grinding out of it. So it's going to be interesting. It's quite a big structure that we're trying to pull out of, and if we do eventually we can trade this up. I've been tracking this and telling you since the 50s, since the mid 50s, that once we do find support here, this would be a good trade. 60 to 65 would end up being a good trade. So keep an eye out for oil, guys, and let's see if we can find support above the weekly resistance and start to show strength. I think a break of 61 would really confirm it. Natgas has definitely been the best asset um, to have traded. It made some really nice moves all the way from the beginning of October. We've been catching some really big moves on Natgas, all the way up here, shorted it down from here, shorted this level again, all the way down, and caught this little bounce. Last week, what we were looking for was for price to dive back down and test this daily support, and the short play was only on losing this support. And I was telling you that if we do start to find support here, you'll be able to get a good risk adjusted long, and that's exactly what we managed to get, and it was a good 3.5%. From there, we tested these 4-hour levels up here, took some profit, and now essentially just waiting because its price is starting to get a little less volatile. So I would say that we could either come back down and test this again and maybe get impulsive, or come back down and break back below this. So I think this 2.24 level is quite a key level. You can see back here as well that we did find good support, and this is where we got impulsive from. So if we are to lose this level, we can trade trade Natgas all the way down to this monthly support. But if we do hold it again, there will be another long opportunity heading all the way up. So still it's a bit less volatile than what it has been, yet respecting these levels so well. So Natgas is just a gold mine, guys. Keep these levels on your chart and do trade them. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and go ahead and share it with someone else. And if you have any questions about what we covered today, please leave them in the comments and I will be sure to get back to you or answer them in my next video. For more trading content and education, go ahead and click on the video on your right. Thanks for watching, guys, and cheers!